What's up, fantasy basketball freaks, and welcome back to the Elite Fantasy Hoops channel with me, Mike Zakarian, where in today's video, we are going to be scoping out some of the second half breakout stars of this NBA season that are going to help you take down a fantasy basketball chip, win a contest, win some rewards or some of that sweet, sweet cash. These are the players you're going to want to target, whether it's on the waiver wire, streaming week to week, whether it's in the daily fantasy streets, on the SORARE marketplace, or on the Underdog app. And before we dive in, if you're enjoying the content, do me a favor, like the video, smash the subscribe, as I'm supposed to say.
Right here, do it. Do it.
Drop a comment on the players you're targeting this second half of the season. Now, like LeBron James.
In this fall, man, it's very tough. In this fall, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach.
I'm taking my talents down to South Beach. That's right. It's hashtag Heat culture. Miami Heat have been producing gems year after year for guys you haven't heard of that are all of a sudden meaningful players in their playoff rotation. But this gem's going to help us win all the monies. That's right. It's the former Indiana Hoosier, the Miami Heat rookie, Kel'el Ware.
Kel'el Ware here, drawn big man Bassi, throws it up top, and Kel'el Ware with the crush. It's just really good work, those two guys.
That's right. Kel'el Ware has finally entered the chat. Now, initially, due to some injuries and some Jimmy Butler drama, Kel'el Ware was finally breaking into the rotation. But because of the way he's playing, he's actually securing those minutes now. He's been acting as the backup for Bam Adebayo, who low-key has been struggling this season. But honestly, by the time you actually see this video, it could be the case that Kel'el Ware is now starting alongside Bam Adebayo. That's right. In the most recent game the Miami Heat played against the San Antonio Spurs, Haywood Highsmith was part of the starting five. But in the second half, we saw the tweet notification go out. That's right. Kel'el Ware replaced Haywood Highsmith in the starting lineup and started alongside Bam Adebayo. And he did not disappoint. Ware finished the game with a team-high 25 points and also had a team-high plus-minus with plus 27 in the Miami Heat win. And in his last 10 games, Ware is averaging over 11 points, 6 boards, and over a block a game, and that's in limited minutes. So if we take those numbers and we get a little minute uptick, and all of a sudden he starts starting next to Bam Adebayo, we could see the moon.
What do you want? You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
So this might be one of those plays where you pick him up now and you play him later, but I promise you, as the highlights come pouring in, we're already seeing it start to happen, so get ahead of it now. Now, the Utah Jazz have made it abundantly clear they are not interested in winning basketball games. Makes the product brutal on court, but for us, we can find some W's in there. Because we're not paying to go see those games in Utah. We're clicking buttons and building fantasy basketball teams. For a little context, the Utah Jazz had 2 games over the last 4 nights. They played on Friday night against the New Orleans Pelicans in New Orleans, which in just 23 minutes, Zion Williams put on an absolute show. Now, luckily for Utah, they played the New Orleans Pelicans in their next game, which wasn't until Monday in New Orleans, so they didn't even have to travel. Now, Lauri Markkanen, who's missed some time, he was out. John Collins was out. Jordan Clarkson was out. But Colin Sexton also missed that game on Monday, and they didn't even try to lie to us. They could have given us an injury. No, they said Colin Sexton needed the rest.
I'm so tired.
They had 3 days in between games. They didn't have to travel. What do you mean he needed to rest? So I say again, the Utah Jazz are not interested in winning basketball games, but you know what that means for us? It means we can still attack the Utah Jazz to get some W's. The Jazz have been going out of their way to rest guys, whether, like we said, Lauri Markkanen, John Collins, Jordan Clarkson. We've seen Walker Kessler miss some time. Now Colin Sexton. They also lost Cody Williams, the rookie, to an injury, and Johnny Juzang is missing time. So we could list off a plethora of Utah Jazz that could actually be useful in the fantasy basketball streets, whether it's Keontae, I'm not going to pass too much, George, whether it's my favorite Bryce Sensabaugh, Kyle Filipowski, the other big rookie. But today, the upside, it really lives with Isaiah Collier.
On the run, Collier. And he'll get the layup.
Now, early in the season, Collier was a turnover machine and was not playing winning basketball. And, well, I still don't know if he's playing winning basketball, but he's going to win for us. I have no idea what Collier's long-term NBA career is going to look like, but he's beginning to make use of that time on the court. In his last 10 games, he's averaging 7 points, 7 assists, and 4 rebounds a game. But in 4 of his last 6 games, he's played over 34 minutes per game, with a couple of gems in there. That second game against the Pelicans that just happened yesterday, he's coming off a 20-point, 11-assist performance. And then just last week against the Nets, he dropped a 23 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists game. The Jazz will lose by letting Collier cook, but maybe we can win. Sound the alarms. dreams have finally come true. The Atlanta Hawks are no longer starting Clint Capella as their big man. That's right, Onyeka Okongwu, after some incredible bench performances in the past 2 weeks, has moved into the starting lineup. The Batman villain finally made the move and switched it up. Now, Capella is still going to be a thorn in Okongwu's side. We're going to have Onyeka going from playing, 20 to 24 minutes a game to now 28 to 32 minutes a game. In his first start against the New York Knicks, he dropped 14 points, 9 boards, and 2 steals in 28 minutes. Okongwu's got some massive ceiling. We saw it last week. Again, in just like 20 minutes off the bench, dropped a 20-point, 20-rebound game. If we're going to get those consistent starter minutes from Okongwu, that means more time with Trae Young, who is leading the league in assists by like 4 million. So we already know Okongwu's going to get the rebounds. We know he's got blocks and steal upside in him, but now he gets those free lobs. All right, this next play might be a little bit frustrating, but the upside is there. It's Houston Rockets' Tari Eason.
Oh, right to Tari Eason, the gift, and then he beats out.
Now, the Rockets seem to have 45 playable guys, but as long as you play defense, Ime Udoka is going to keep you out there, and that is what's starting to happen with Tari Eason as he has recently come back from injury, but has been entered right back into the lineup. Now, in the last 10 games he's played, he's only averaged 10 points and 5 rebounds a game. But again, he's another guy with massive steal and block upside. And it also benefits, like, anytime somebody gets dinged up, like we're seeing right now when Jabari Smith Jr. left the lineup, Tari Eason left the lineup, all of a sudden, Amen Thompson blossomed into a superstar. I could have used this segment to talk about Amen Thompson, but at this point, we all know about Amen Thompson, and Tari Eason is the next guy in line to become that guy. We've seen him put up double-doubles in limited minutes. In a game against the Sacramento Kings, in 25 minutes, he put up 16 points and 12 boards, and then just yesterday in the loss that they had against the Pistons, he had 5 steals in that game. It might be a little bit of a roller coaster with Tari Eason, but the upside absolutely is worth the risk. And speaking of risk, let's get to our last spot of the video. But before we get there, just want to say thank you for tuning in. And if you're interested in becoming a member, sign up. It gets you some behind the paywall content, get you access to some daily ranks, whether it's in Underdog or on the SORARE streets. And it's a great way to support the channel. But you can also support the channel just by subscribing, liking the video. And then again, after you're done with this, drop a comment in the video about who you're most excited to attack in the fantasy basketball streets for the second half of the NBA season. All right, let's wrap this up with a question. What the hell do we do with the Portland Trail Blazers? The Trail Blazers are starting to take that Danny Ainge look where they have somebody driving the tank into the ground to make sure they get a draft pick. We just got word over the weekend and also from some video evidence that the Houston Rockets are clearly interested in Robert Williams, who is finally healthy, but for how long? And if that does happen, that does 2 things. One, as gross as it feels, it makes DeAndre Ayton much more playable, especially in the short term, because even though Ayton's been underwhelming, which he absolutely has been, if you remove Robert Williams from that equation and Donovan Clingan is hurt right now, DeAndre Ayton should soak up a lot of that minutes and usage. However, the guy we should be focusing on is Donovan Clingan, because as we get closer to the tanking time, as they look forward to their upcoming first-round draft pick, DeAndre Ayton will be playing less and less basketball, and the rookie Donovan Clingan should step in. Clingan's offensive game has a lot to desire. However, he is going to scoop up every freaking rebound that's available. He's also got some stock upside. And if they're going to start playing him, 28 to 35 minutes a game because dominating is not dominating and Robert Williams is no longer there, I want to be ready for the Clingan ride. Now, it's probably too late to get on the Scoot Henderson train unless people are just so used to him being bad.
Knocked away by Vucevic. Here come the Bulls again. Lead pass knocked down by Scoot. Good defense, putting pressure on Giddey. Ball loose, grabbed by Scoot, dashes to the rack to lay it in.
But Scoot Henderson, in his last 10 games, is averaging over 15 points a game, over 6 dimes, and almost 4 rebounds. He's finally showing some of the upside that made him that lottery draft pick. We saw him go for 21 and 11 against the Rockets, and then against the Bulls, a near triple-double of 25, 8, and 7. So Scoot Henderson is starting to cook. We've also seen Anthony Simons start to miss some time, and good Lord, Portland, please trade Anthony Simons. I need him in a different situation where he's playing winning basketball because I'm a Simons fan. But from the fantasy side of things, between Scoot, Simons, Danny Avdiu's been putting together some nice games, and then Shaedon Sharpe, there's just too many guys touching the ball. So if we're able to pluck out Robert Williams and we're able to pluck out Anthony Simons, all of a sudden, this looks like a more condensed unit who will, 1, lose a ton of basketball games, which the Portland front office wants, and 2, put up great fantasy stats. Shaedon Sharpe, Scoot Henderson, and Clingan could absolutely win you some cash down the home stretch of the season. That's going to do it for me. Thank you for tuning in, and don't forget, smash the subscribe.